Going to be joined, hopefully, on the screen here by Colm Creamer, who is actually originally from Ireland, but I believe you're in Hungary today, Colm.
Yeah, so originally I'm from Dublin in Ireland, and I moved to Budapest 5 years ago, and I've been living there since.
It's a fabulous city. I'd totally recommend it. I presume you would too.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. It's a very walkable city. There's a lot to see, and there's so much to see in terms of history. It has a very detailed and long history.
So there you go. That was our quick plug for the Budapest Tourist Board. Let's talk a little bit about your background, being in Ireland, and what was your introduction to Reach?
You know, I can't actually say personally what my introduction was, because I was basically born into Reach. I've been in Reach since I was, as the old phrase goes, knee-high to a grasshopper. But my parents were obviously the ones who found and got involved. And I just did a quick check. I did a little bit of background checking, because obviously this all happened before I was born / when I was very young. And it started for my mum and dad when there was a radio show going. And for all the kids in the audience today, a radio show is what podcasts used to be. But my mum had heard about it and was looking for support, reached out to a researcher on an RTE radio show. RTE is the national channel for Ireland, the broadcasting channel. And then she got the number of the late Beatrice Hurley, and through them got in contact, found out about Reach, which I think at the time was like very small, like less than 20 families. And it's ever since then she joined, and we've been involved. So that's 30 years ago now.
Now, I was reading a little bit about you, and I'm intrigued. I love the fact that, first of all, we were talking about people have different talents and they do different things, and it's great to hear. I'm coming to that. Yes, I am coming to that. But first of all, I'm going to talk about your work, because it's important to highlight every talent. You know, whether it be music, whether it be art, whether it be acting, whether it be writing. But actually, for you as a software developer, what a great career.
It's been fantastic. So I've sort of worked my way up in the tech world, if you will, through the company I currently work for. Am I allowed to say them before I keep going?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay, so I work for a company called Log Me In, or the more famous product you might have heard of is GoToMeeting. But I started when they opened the Dublin office in 2012. And I was a customer support representative at second level technical support. So I was this nerdy kid who was really good with computers. I was 21 when I joined the company, and they flew me over to Boston. I got training for 3 weeks, and I started as a customer service rep, answering calls mostly for the American market, which is why my accent doesn't sound that Irish. And then after that, I got the opportunity to move here in Budapest in 2016, and I was a technical writer. So sort of kind of keeping into the theme of writing, only I was writing, the way I describe it to people is, do you know when you get a new computer or a new dishwasher or a new washing machine, and you get that really boring manual that nobody ever reads till something goes wrong?
Yeah, we know it. Yep.
And from there, I got an opportunity to work on the software side, creating essentially the website, where all of those very boring manuals are kept, and all the articles that you go to and goes, it's not working. And what my job is now is I create software and tests that make sure everything that is on the site that tells you it's not working or how to make it work is still working.
And it's great to hear that, because I know there will be youngsters and families of youngsters watching who will think, actually, this is an area that I'd really like to go into. So it's great to hear how you got into that. But you knew it was coming. I do need to ask you about how juggling got you the job. What was that all about?
Sure. So as part of the interview process, there was a 3-stage interview. So the first was, and this was like really early days, so it was mostly done over the phone. So my first 2 interviews were done over the phone with like a HR person, and then with the managers of the team, which got me an in-person interview on the not quite established office yet, because they were just opening it up. And it was with 2 people. The second guy was a guy called Jamie, And he was coming at me like, trying to catch me at whatever. He had a CV in front of me, and I was 21, so your CV isn't that detailed at 21. So how do you pad it out? You put in my hobbies and interests section, which had juggling. And he's looking through the CV and he goes, "Do you really juggle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I really juggle. I taught myself." And it was like, no, but like people put all sorts of bull poop. He didn't use that word, but I'm trying to keep it PG-13. On their CV, like I walk through walls and stuff. But do you really juggle? I'm like, "Yeah, I've got my thuds here. I can show you if you want." I was like, no, you don't have to. But and he goes, "I've got two hands and I can't even juggle." I said, "All right, fine." So I grabbed my thuds and let's see if I can do it under pressure. And hopefully the camera picked that up. And I juggled right there in front of him. And I still reckon to this day that's what got me this job. That he was like, "All right, yeah, well, he's not lying."
So the message to youngsters watching is, if you want a job in software development, go learn to juggle.
And you can even do it one-handed.
Brilliant, fantastic. And looking at all the things that you do, you've got guitar, and also what's this about Latin dancing?
Yes, so I less so now because we've got a pandemic going on, but in the before times, the old days, I used to teach dance with my girlfriend. I taught a Brazilian style of dance known as forró. So I've been doing that for, I should know this because it was just after we started dating, and I should know how long we've been dating.
Is she watching?
2014, 7 years. 7 years. Phew, got away with that. And about 6 months after we started dating, there was they were establishing the group. My girlfriend had been involved in the group called Forró Ireland. And they were looking at running events, and I was living in my own apartment at the time. So I said, "All right, why don't you come over? That way you have your own space, your own privacy, and I'll cook." And I cooked a big meal, and they were sitting around and talking about it. And, well, to put it bluntly, none of them were particularly good at running a business. Me being involved in Reach for as long as I had, and overhearing conversations that my mum and dad were having, as my dad being the chairman, and my mum being involved in all the events coordination and all of the rest of it that's involved. I'm not going to try and name all the things. She was amazing. I had an idea and I started talking. It turned into me looking into the social media side of it. So I was running the Facebook thing, and I ended up getting the nickname of the manager. And my name started being, try as I might to stay in the background. So then, of course, I had to learn how to dance, which was slightly easier for me when your girlfriend's a teacher. So, we would finish up stuff and she would show me things, and I got the bug. Next thing you know, I was helping her teach. I was her teaching assistant, and then we were teaching together. We got an opportunity after I moved to Budapest to go back to Ireland to teach at a festival. And we ended up helping out when somebody else started Forró over here in Budapest. And we were teaching there with another friend of ours who's Brazilian, a guy called Lucas.
Now, one of the things I want to talk about a little bit is because seeing you over there in Hungary, we think about this amazing support family that we have at Reach here in the UK and in Ireland. Are you aware of anything over there in Hungary? Is there any level of support? Is there a sister organisation, as it were?
Not that I'm aware of. I have met a lady who also had a limb deficiency similar to mine, what I think is commonly known as, not commonly known, uncommonly known as amniotic band syndrome, or when I was a kid we used to call it the stump. I think it has a different term now. And then I know I think there is another Reach family who are from Hungary. Somebody told me that. I haven't been in contact with them bar via the Reach and Reach Ireland Facebook page. I will occasionally drop in there and I'll talk. Or if people are looking for advice, I pretty frequently will comment and say, "Well, look, this is how I did it," or anything like that. But I am not aware of a sister organisation in Hungary. So if there are, feel free to reach out to me. You can get me Colm Creamer on Facebook. Cheap plug.
Now, it's great that you're still in contact with Reach, and I love the fact that, like so many people at Reach, they go back and they help others, and it's giving that support. And I think that's something that's really special and probably quite unique about Reach in terms of that fellowship that you have. One of the questions that people might have been asking you is, how do you go about playing the guitar? Because I know that's something else that you do.
Yeah, sure. Just before I answer that, just going back to your point of going back, I think most, or at least a lot of the people who I talk to, who are what we call Reach babies, feel like Reach has empowered us to do so. Like I know as soon as I started turning like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, like that period of time, and I was going to the AGMs back in the before times when we could all see each other face to face. I loved being able to help out the younger kids, or being able to, or like moments where parents would see me doing something and they'd go, "Oh, how can you do that? How do you do that?" Like at Reach AGMs, I have taught kids to tie their laces. I taught one kid how to juggle, and I taught him a little bit of contact juggling. I don't have my contacts to hand, so I can't show that. I have taught like how to button a shirt one-handed, all sorts of things like that. And it's really empowering, and it feels really nice, and you feel like you're giving back. And I think Reach empowers a lot of the kids who then become adults, particularly now, to give back, and want to do more for the kids, and sees what the younger kids are going through, and they're like, "Oh, I remember going through that," and stuff like that. To answer your original question that I tangented wildly from, how do I play guitar, is with my arm. I'll see if I can get it close. I still have a nail. So my nail becomes my pick or my plectrum. So I play it left-handed, and I'll strum using the nail here. My guitar is just off screen. I can show you, but I apologize in advance. It's currently out of tune.
No problem.
Give me 2 seconds.
No, that's absolutely fine. While he does that, just a quick reminder, please, if you've got any questions for Colm, then do let us know. We'd love to hear them. And also, of course, if you've got any other points you want to put up on social media, again, ReachFamily21 is the hashtag. Please do add something in there, and maybe take a picture of Colm actually from your side, and see how it comes out. We can put it on his social media later on. So I'm not sure, because this is the creative section of the day today. We've been talking about all these different things. So we're going to get a bit ahead of Claire's orchestra later on. Off you go, Colm.
Well, I'm not going to play a song because, like I said, I haven't tuned it in advance. I should have planned ahead. But just in terms of visual demonstration, my left hand does the fretting and making of chords, and then my right hand will strum, or I will pick as I need to.
Brilliant. And as we found
one
out,
of the things that ends up happening with that is I have very hard calluses at that end as a result on the tips of my right finger from longer sessions where you're playing for a bit.
But brilliant. And it's one of the things that, we see over and over again. Every Reach child is unique in their difference and how they then respond to it. And it's always, I think, intriguing for everybody to watch different people overcome things. And it's great that you're giving back to Reach so much. So we really appreciate that.
And it's fun seeing the evolution of things as well. Like I remember in the early days of Reach, when the guitar players would get together, there was all sorts of makeshifts, what would now become prosthetics. Like there was one kid called George, and he had, I'm going to use the term stump again, but he used a plectrum and 2 rubber bands to hold the plectrum in place, and that's how he would strum and hit and stuff like that. Nowadays, you go to places like Kappa Hospital, or I don't know the names of the places in the UK, but they'll make you a hard plastic 3D printed prosthetic that will hold your plectrum like that. They'll do it up in a couple of days. It's amazing what they can do now. But it's fun. It's been fun to see that evolution with the idea of there's nothing going to stop the Reach kids.
And what a great way
when they set their mind to it.
And you know what? I think that's a great thought for the day. You know, nothing's going to stop. Maybe that should be the new theme tune. Nothing's going to stop us now. I don't know. But that was absolutely brilliant, Colm. Thank you so much indeed for joining us today, especially calling in from Hungary as well. And I'm sure lots of people will be following you on social media now. But thanks so much. And we wish you all the best in your career. And hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me.